Fair use. The views and opinions of Jay and Cannon do not represent the views of any studio, actor, or whiny fanboys. Warning, there are spoilers.
Hey everyone, I'm Jay Pylon from Gematria Codes on Twitter, and I'm joined by the legendary Cannon Hotep of the Hotep Nation. What's good?
Salute. Nothing much, man. Long day at work, Other than that, feeling pretty good. How about you?
Man, I was just watching the babies.
I hear that.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And we last time we talked, we was doing some movie reviews, and so this week we decided we're going to head and go back in the past to the 1970s films. I got a list here of my top 10.
Okay.
You got your list ready?
I'm pulling it up now. I got a top like 5 or 6, but I'm sure there's something to jog my memory. I'm like, oh. But you know how that go. I'm a young boy. I'm 37, so I'm an 80s baby.
You were going back to the 70s. We had some good movies back then.
But
old school.
Like I said, my grandparents, just being around my grandparents' house all the time, they was watching stuff. So, I'm sure something will come to me.
That's good.
Anyway, let's get into this. I'm gonna let you go first on yours since you're the authority on these 1970s movies.
70s movies.
Yeah,
I got the 70s movies in the back. Let me say I'll start off with some that I didn't put on my list, but really notable films. Some notables would be Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg film, and it was about Devil's Rock, Devil's Mountain with the flat top.
Mm-hmm.
It has some predictive programming in that one too. There was a scene in there where the government characters, they come through and they got animals in a cage or a bird in a cage or something like that.
Yeah.
They go running into this area and they're like, "Hey, everyone, clear out this area because it's got gas and stuff coming through."
Mm-hmm.
Everyone clears out the area. They come back running through with the canary in the cage type thing, and the canary's dead. And they're like, "Oh, the canary's dead. That whole area is poisoned over there." Everyone runs away from the area. They come back in and they're really just there to see the government knows that these aliens are landing there, and they're just trying to clear the people out. And I got that one on the 4K. Did you see that one when it come out? The Spielberg.
I seen it on TV, right? So that's the one where like when the spaceship came, it was doing all the music, like the fucking synthesized music and shit, and that's how they was communicating back and forth. That was dope. I think I caught that in the middle of the movie, and I just stayed and watched it. I don't think I ever seen it from the beginning, but I think I caught it from like around the middle, and then I just kept watching. I thought it was a dope movie. I'm like, man, that'd be kind of cool if that's how it actually happens.
A French film director is in the start of it. His name is Francois Truffaut.
Okay.
And he was a friend of Steven Spielberg. Mm-hmm. And he starts off in the start of the movie where they're kind of like explaining what different people are saying. Mm-hmm. He's like the interpreter, and he's trying to figure out this code that's being dropped by the aliens using the synthesizer music.
Gotcha.
Just letting you know that they're on their way, they're here, or whatever.
Yeah, I like that.
I got my other notable would be Deliverance. You ever see Deliverance?
Never seen Deliverance.
Oh, you got to see that one.
Never seen
This the one that's gonna get a lot of different callbacks to. Mm-hmm. It has the scene with this boy. He's in the outback. It's basically about this group of city folks. Mm-hmm. Burt Reynolds and his friends go into the woods, and these backwoods hillbilly type people are out there. And they start jacking them up. It's kind of like Wrong Turn, basically. Okay. But back in the 70s, they start messing them up one by one. And you got this banjo playing kid that's kind of, he steals the scene when you see him, and he starts playing this banjo real hard.
Was he playing it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the joint. And they put that in a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's what Dueling Banjos, I think it's called.
Yeah, and when that boy comes up and he's in this scene, it's creepy, and you're like, oh man, something's not right here. Foreshadowing's coming.
Yeah,
y'all about to get jacked up somehow. I'd have turned around, seen him. I'd have been like, oh, we're good.
Yeah. Then that movie would been a short-lived movie for me.
Saying there's nothing to see here. Head the other direction.
Let's keep it moving.
My other notable, I did have it on my list, but I kind of switched it up a little bit. Was another Spielberg one. This one came out at the theater briefly back in the 70s. It's called Duel.
Duel. That sounds
real
familiar.
It's real nice. It's a truck. There's this Dennis Hopper is his name. The actor's name.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper.
He's out on the road, and in the film, it's kind of cool. He's in his headspace the whole time. So like he's thinking, and you can hear his thoughts. He's like, I wonder how long this trip is gonna take. You know, you don't see him talking out loud to himself. He's thinking these thoughts through his head, and he's just thinking about. I think he's coming out of Cali. He's heading somewhere, and this road rage truck gets behind him and just stays on his bumper. Then eventually, starts following him around. This was this was an early Spielberg film, and it's pretty good. I like it. It's another thriller. The 70s was known for having a lot of thrillers in it, and that was a pretty solid one. And then my other notable that I didn't put on my list was Alien, and that's real good too.
Alien's on my list.
Okay, there you go. That's a sci-fi horror film.
Yeah.
So I guess why don't we start there with your number? Was that number 5 or whatever number you at? Go ahead and
So let's get to it. Hold on.
Yeah, Alien.
All right. So the number 1 on my list was Rocky.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that's just a classic for me. You know what I mean? Like meaning like. If I'm scrolling through the channels or whatever, and that's on, I gotta stop and watch it. It's a classic movie. Classic underdog story. You got, Sylvester Stallone playing Rocky Balboa. They give him a shot. They made it seem like, I guess Apollo Creed was whooping everybody's ass, and he's like, well, you need to, get some fresh face in there to, jazz it up a little bit, and they didn't think Rocky was gonna be anything, and
that's right.
Shock the world, even though he lost.
Back then in the 70s and 80s, that would have been a part of what they would call the Great White Hope, because they didn't have white heavyweights for a while since Rocky Marciano back in the 50s.
Right.
So for them to look back and say, oh, we do have this Italian guy, and he'll bring in all these, white fans. So it'll be white versus black in this fight. That'll be big pay-per-view numbers, for back in the 70s. That'll be big viewership. That'll be big money for the sponsors. So they got behind it to push him, knowing that he'll make a good fight. But come on, is he going to beat Apollo Creed? That's what they're like, no way. He doesn't stand a chance. We're gonna whoop on him. It'll be a good show.
Right.
It'll be like a segue fight for Apollo to work on something bigger and better.
Right. Exactly.
Little did they know, they're giving the underdog a chance that really had something.
He's taking it serious.
Yeah, he was legit with it. Which set up a whole franchise.
He went in there like he had something to lose. You know what I mean? That was a great movie. It's like I said, it's a classic. Some reason I thought First Blood was also in the 70s, but it wasn't. I thought it was an 80s movie. Like
80s,
early 80s, but I was like
80, was it 87?
I think it might have been, is it 87?
I thought it was 82. You talking about Van Damme?
No. Rocky G. Sylvester Stallone, Rambo.
Oh, Rambo. Oh, yeah. First Blood, Rambo. Okay,
it was like 82.
I thought you were talking about Bloodsport for a second or something.
No, that's a great movie. We have to talk about that when we get to the 80s stuff. But
yeah.
Next movie was Animal House.
Okay.
Hey, that's a classic. You know what I mean?
Animal House.
Yeah, Jim Belushi. God rest his soul. Animal House is great. It's been a while since I've seen it. I wasn't supposed to watch it when I was a kid. Like Porky's. I wasn't supposed to be watching Porky's either when I was younger. You know what I mean?
All right.
but being at my grandparents' house, my aunt and uncle, they was teenagers at the time, so they used to show me a lot of that stuff. But yeah, Jim Belushi was hilarious in there. What else I got on here? Alien. So, like I said, I had Alien on here. Sigourney Weaver. Scared the hell out of me when I was a kid, but it was a good movie. The funny part, right, is that my son is into it now. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Alien.
Like, I won't let him watch it. He want to watch the movie, but he's 7. Like, he has xenomorph toys and all this other stuff, and he really wants to watch the movie Alien. And like, I kind of want to watch him. Ridley Scott did it. I kind of want to let him watch it. What was her name? Ellen Ripley. Was that her character's name?
Ripley.
Yeah.
Ripley was the
was Sigourney Weaver's character. Yeah, Yaphet Kotto in there. You know what I mean? It was just a great movie. And then I also remember when Aliens came out.
Yeah.
That was, even I know it's not in the, in the 70s or whatever. When Aliens came out, that was my jam right there. I was still scared of it, but I was watching. Yeah, Charles.
James Cameron directed the sequel.
Yeah,
and boy, that really sets up those things where people say, well, there's not too many sequels that are better than the original.
Yeah,
the original Alien was pretty epic, and I think the sequel outdid it. I like the sequel more than the original. Yeah,
I remember watching it, and my dad had it. I think he might have rented it from like Budget Video or something like that. But like the funny part is, right, my dad tells a story, and I used to think my little brother, his name is Bishop. My father got my brother's name from Aliens.
Wow.
So I think was the android's name Bishop? Somebody's name was Bishop in there. Let me see.
I thought it was the
Lance Hendrickson played Bishop. I think he was the android, wasn't he? I can't remember.
It was the guy with the large laser rifle gun thing or whatever that was.
Wasn't he an android? Or am I wrong about that? I thought he was an android. Anyway, but yeah.
I don't remember the name of the android. I don't remember his name.
So Bishop was played by a guy named Lance Hendrickson. But that's where my brother got his name from. You know what I mean? I thought my father got it from Bishop from X-Men, right? But he actually got he's like, no, I got it from Alien. I thought it was the coolest name. So when my brother was born, they named him Bishop.
Man.
So I think he has the coolest name out of all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
if they make another X-Men movie and they got Bishop, they got to put you in there as Bishop. Isn't this man toting all them weapons back?
I don't think I'm dark enough to play Bishop.
the light Bishop.
Right. So play Rook or some shit. I don't know. But next on my list, Enter the Dragon. You got to throw Bruce Lee in there.
Oh, you got Enter the Dragon?
Yeah, you got to throw Bruce Lee. Unfortunately, that's the movie he died on.
Was it?
Yeah.
He died on Enter the Dragon?
Yeah, he died on Enter the Dragon, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh.
Let me see. My father used to watch that all the time.
I got Enter the Dragon on my shelf right there. I got Animal House on that shelf right there.
Let me see. Yeah, he died making Enter the Dragon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But that was a great movie. Had what's the other guy? The black guy that was the black.
Kareem?
No, what's his name? The black guy, the martial artist. What's his name? Like, man, you come straight out of a comic book. I
don't know. I thought it had like the celebrity in it, but I could be thinking of faces of.
No, I think you think about the movie where he had
Game of Death. I mean,
yeah, I think he fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
With the yellow tracksuit he had on.
He was fighting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in that one. Right. And then what's the other one where he was fighting Bruce Lee? Not Bruce Lee. He's fighting Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Boy, back in the day, those they used to come on the television all the time.
Yeah.
Have the karate, the kung fu masters, all those different people.
Oh yeah, Kung Fu Theater or whatever it was.
Yeah, Kung Fu Theater. That's
that
was rocking.
My father said my grandmother used to take him to I guess to like the matinees, and he would go see all of the kung fu movies.
Yeah. That was epic back in the
Jim Kelly,
60s,
that's
early
his name.
70s.
Jim Kelly.
Right.
Jim Kelly was Enter the Dragon. So, but yeah, my dad used to go see those things back in the day. Then my grandmother used to take him there. He used to sit in there all day and watch Japanese movies, or kung fu movies.
Quarter, popcorn, something like that. I know the prices would have been low back then.
It was back in the 70s. So I got Godfather 1 and 2 on my list as well.
Where did this fall into? So you said you had Alien, and you had.
So Godfather 1 and 2 fell in like it fell at the bottom. It was like 5 and 6 for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't my cup of tea. You know, it was still good. You know, great. I don't know if it falls into. I guess would it fall into a drama? Like I don't know what category that would fall into.
Yeah, it's mostly just drama.
Yeah,
it's mostly drama. A little action here and there though.
Right. Like I thought that was pretty cool. You know, I was young again. A lot of these movies I was young when I watched them. I just remember watching with my grandfather. And I used to think they were like, oh my gosh, these movies are so long. But you know, just sitting there watching, I thought it was super cool. You know what I mean? Was it Marlon Brando was the main character in that movie? Marlon Brando, Al Pacino,
Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro,
Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
It was a great movie. Like I like both of them, but you know, it's been like might be 20 years since I've seen those. You know what I mean? At one point, they used to come on TV a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Turner Network or something like that.
Yeah.
It's TBS and Turner. Y'all had TNT or TBS. Those were the channels.
Yeah, TNT. Yeah, that's exactly what it would come on all the time.
And AMC had the. You said it was Godfather. You were also talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, Godfather 1 and 2. Yep. What else I have on here? Like I said, at first I thought First Blood was one. I was like, it's the 80s, but it was like they come on. And then so I also have Jaws on my list.
Okay.
First one was pretty cool, and then after that, you know, they jumped the shark for pardon the pun, in my opinion. Like they should have just let it die with Jaws 1. Then you got Jaws 2, Jaws 3, Jaws 3D, Jaws Revenge. You know what I mean? Where they had Mario Van Peebles, and they got.
I wonder if they ever come out with a new one. You know, with our today's technology and stuff like that, and a good director, it could be solid.
I mean, hopefully it's not like Sharknado.
Yeah, I mean, not like give it to Yui Bowl or some strange off the wall director, but give it to some serious filmmaker like Villeneuve or whatever that other dude's name is, Christopher, or the Nolan brothers, somebody.
Yeah, I guess they could do that. Another decent movie. Now I'm thinking about it is what's the movie with Charlie Sheen's father? Was it Martin Sheen?
Thinking about Wall Street, right?
No, not Wall Street, which that was actually a decent movie, but
that's the 80s.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. Apocalypse Now.
I did watch that. I thought that was pretty good.
Did you have that on your list too?
No, I didn't have it on the list. I'm just kind of thinking now.
A notable 70s movie,
right?
Okay.
Like Apocalypse Now was a pretty good movie. It was an interesting movie. Marlon Brando was in that too, right? He was in that one too.
It was the crazed lieutenant person that was forming a cult around himself and his personality.
Right.
Called that they use later the cult of personality.
Cult of personality.
They call it. It was similar to what was happening in Apocalypse Now.
Right. Which I thought was pretty cool. Another notable, which probably should be on my list, honestly, now I'm thinking about it, is first Star Wars, A New Hope.
Yeah.
You know
Star Wars Episode 4.
You know what I mean? That should have been on my list. You know, I wasn't thinking about that, but that's great. My son even likes that movie, you know.
Yeah.
He sat down one day and watched the Star Wars with me. He loved it. He was going, at one point, like, I don't know why my son like bad guys. He likes all the bad guys in movies. He roots for the bad guy, and I don't understand it. Like, I'm like, do I got some shit to work with?
Get him, Darth Vader.
Yeah, like,
come on, Grand Moff Tarkin. Go Empire.
I want the stormtroopers. Like what? I want the Darth Vader toy, and he roots for the bad guys. He's like, my son's an antagonist, man. He's a troll. Like everybody in our house likes the Ravens. He's like, I like the Steelers. Like, you suck.
He's got to switch it up, huh?
Yeah, he got it. It's just what he got to do. Like, man, he's a trip. But yeah, Star Wars, New Hope. That's all. That's going to be on there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, I'm just trying to jog my memory. So, like I said, I was born in '84, so a lot of the movies I was seeing was because by way of my grandparents watching them, and I'm like,
Right.
Like I wanted to put Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, but that was '69 when I looked like. Still a great movie though.
Movie, huh?
Yeah. Another one I thought it was just odd. I don't know why. I think I just liked the soundtrack. I think when I was a kid, Saturday Night Fever.
Oh yeah, the Bee Gees. Sounds of the Bee Gees.
SATURDAY. Like I can never get that shit out of my head. Like, you know what I mean? And then you got John Travolta doing all the dance moves and shit like that. And
Yeah, he was the man in that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Put on his little velveteer suit or whatever that was.
Right.
Went to town on him.
Like I'm looking through a list now because I'm trying to jog my memory. Like I know I've seen so many more movies. You know what I mean? But like for example, like I was a scaredy cat when I was a kid. So like Halloween, scratch that. I wasn't watching none of that shit.
The horror genre. They had a lot of horror.
And it was like real horror films back then. Like
70's had
horror films.
Carrie, Halloween, a couple other ones.
Yeah, they had quite a few. Was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was that 70s or was the 80s?
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The first one is from the 70s.
I remember my aunt took me to see the one. I think it came out in, I don't know if they just re-aired it in the theaters or whatever. I might have been 8, and they snuck out the house and they took me with them. And they went to go see Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was back when they used to sneak kids in the theater. They made me hide under the the box office, like the ticket counter, and then sneak in. And I remember that movie started, scared the hell out of me. I kept my eyes closed the entire movie till I fell asleep. I did not want no parts of that movie, boy. It scared the hell out of me. Like I wasn't big on horror stuff. Like now I'm cool with it, but like when I was a kid, nah. Like my son, he'll watch it, like I'm good, and then he'll wake up screaming in the middle of the night, thinking somebody after him. Like say he be trying to be tough.
They got a lot of stuff for the to creep out the little kids too on the YouTube. I'm constantly trying to get that off because my son gets into it.
My son gets into it.
What was it? Huggy Wuggy, Slender Man, Moo Moo.
Man, let me.
It's a bang of them.
My son comes to me 3 days ago and goes, "Hey, Dad, I want to be Slender Man for Halloween." I said, "No, you don't want to be Slender Man for Halloween. You ain't bringing that shit in my house." Right? Like I don't care what nobody say. That man, that's an evil spirit. You ain't bringing him in the house. You can forget that Slender Man shit. Yeah. Boy, as a matter of fact, let me see. I had to log him into my my YouTube so I can see what the hell he watching.
Yeah, because they got two. They have all this stuff mixed in with the kiddie stuff, and so when the kids see it, they're like, "Oh, let me go ahead and click on some horror stuff." Then
remember Momo, that crazy looking thing that I think it had a couple of kids fucking off themselves to that shit.
Some terrible, crazy stuff they threw up on the YouTube.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But it's stuff like that's still on YouTube Kids, man. They got to get that up out of there. The Shining, was The Shining in the 70s? I did see The Shining.
The Shining was 1980.
1980. Okay, so it just missed the cut. The Network. I'm looking through this. The Network was that's one of the movies that
77 or 78.
76. The Network was a great movie. Like that rant, like toward the end, where he was, he was going off about how they take your attention, and it's an epic rant. I might have to put it in the video.
A rich little man with white hair died. What has that got to do with the price of rice, right? And why is that woe to us? Because you people and 62 million other Americans are listening to me right now. Because less than 3% of you people read books. Because less than 15% of you read newspapers. Because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. This tube is the most awesome goddamn force in the whole godless world. And woe is us if it ever falls into the hands of the wrong people. And that's why woe is us that Edward George Ruddy died. And when the 12th largest company in the world controls the most awesome goddamn propaganda force in the whole godless world, who knows what shit will be peddled for truth on this network? So you listen to me. Listen to me. Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. So if you want the truth, go to God. Go to your gurus. Go to yourselves, because that's the only place you're ever going to find any real truth. But man, you're never going to get any truth from us. We'll tell you anything you want to hear. We lie like hell. We'll tell you that Kojak always gets the killer and that nobody ever gets cancer in Archie Bunker's house. And no matter how much trouble the hero is in, don't worry, just look at your watch. At the end of the hour, he's going to win. We'll tell you any shit you want to hear. We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. But you people sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion. So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
That rant was epic. That's what made me go back and watch. And that was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
he's mad. He was very mad.
Yeah, he was pissed because I think he took over the stations. I think he said he was gonna kill himself or something like that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was something.
That was toward the end of the movie, I think, right?
I think in the beginning he was talking about it, like he was on the air. I think he was about to fire. I forgot what it was, but like 4 or 5 years ago, I was watching. I was like, "Oh, this is a good movie." But the end where he was ranting about how the media manipulates and this and that, it was amazing. You know what I mean? That's what made me watch the movie. When I seen that rant, I just wanted to watch the movie just to see that rant. You know what I mean? But like I said. But what you got on your list? Because like I said, I'm tapped out. Because like I said, I'm like, now we get with the 80s. I got you on that. I can get with you on the 80s, but 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we'll have to knock out the 80s, 90s. What was it? The 2000s, the 10s.
Yeah, I'm
caught up.
I'm all for it.
My number 10 was Superman. Long movie too. It was like 3 hours. There's a super extended version of it that's hard to find. I think that only a few people have it, and I think it's really hard to see. And I remember seeing it a long time ago, and it's like a 4.5 version of it. But like only a few people got to see like the full unedited extended version of the Superman film, and they showed it once or twice back in the day. I got to see it though. It was really long, but it was pretty good. And my number 9, you see in the background, maybe I got that movie The Sting, and that's about this. It's really good. Robert Redford. It's about these 2 con men back in the 30s, and they're hustlers, street hustlers, and they got these grifts, and they got these con games, and they have this long con that they're trying to work on to get this mobster out his money, and so it's a really good movie. It's a little bit of action, some comedy. Definitely some comedy, and they're working on this little scheme to get this money, and so it's a really good one. You gotta check that one out. The other one, my comedy I liked was Silver Streak. Okay. That was with what's it? I forgot his name right now. Silver Streak was with Richard Pryor. That would escape me for a second. And
that was one of the ones with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Yeah, they get in aboard the train, and they're on this pathway, and there's these people going back and forth on this train that have murdered someone.
Yeah, a couple movies together, right?
Yeah. See No Evil, Hear No Evil back in the 80s, back about 87 or 88, something like that.
I remember that, but I did see that movie.
My other one
was retarded.
Yeah, they're good together. They were good together, real silly.
Yeah.
I got Logan's Run in the back too, and it's a good one because it has. This will probably all fall, but let's see.
Logan's Run. What's that about?
So start off though showing you that chip that's coming for people's hands.
Oh, okay.
Logan's Run is a dystopian film, and it features Farrah Fawcett in one of her first film roles, probably her very first film role, and it's about these people that are like Big Brother, and it takes place in 2274, and they're trying to say that anyone gets over 30 that they need to renew, but renew means they killed them.
Okay.
And so they have these colors in their hand. If the color turns red, then their chip is overdue.
Oh, wow.
They're done with. And they all basically live in like this utopian city.
It kind of sound like that movie with Justin Timberlake, like when they
Time Out. Yeah, but this is better than that. Yeah, that's
it just kind of sound along the lines. Like I guess that's where they got the idea from, probably from Logan.
Right. Probably stole it off of there. My number 6 is the French Connection Part 1 and Part 2.
Okay.
That's with Gene Hackman, and he's playing the part of Popeye Doyle, and he's a tough cop, and he's trying to shut down this international drug dealing operation, smuggling outfit, and it's a true story. So Part 1 and Part 2, they're both long. They have a lot of action. It's a thriller. I think they're both rated R. That's another really good one if you want to check out a good thriller action movie. Part 1 and Part 2. It's long though. I think they in the movie they're trying to see who is this French connection to all these smugglers there that keep bringing in this dope and then shipping out this money. Then my number 5, Jaws.
Okay. Spielberg's
epic. The shark. I mean, that was pretty good. I'm watching and enjoying it. And I liked Part 2, but not as much as Part 1. And I liked Part 3 in the 80s because it was cheesy and funny. And also you had to wear 3D glasses. It was
really
cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I still got the 3D. I still got the 3D glasses, and so I try to show the kids, and I think their favorite one is Part 3 also because it's just a silly movie. Godfather 1 and 2. Godfather 1 and 2 is my number 4. And they actually have it's called Godfather Saga, and that is the 4 or 6 hour version of it, and that's my favorite version. That version has completely unedited, and you get to see tons of different aspects of it. Originally, I think it came out on TV, and then HBO got the rights to it, and they re-released it called Godfather Saga. Okay. And I got a copy of it. It's a nice one. My number 3, my third favorite was called Being There. And it's, man, this movie is really good. It's funny. It's a drama. It's about this guy that's a gardener. He's a gardener, right? And he wears these nice dress suits because his boss has passed away. And so he wears these fancy dress suits from like the 20s and the 30s. So he's suited up real nice. And he gets evicted from his house. So he's out there on the streets walking along, and the wife of their version of Warren Buffett accidentally bumps her car into him. And this guy he's just a gardener, right? He's grown up his whole life inside of this mansion behind these walls there in Washington, D.C. He doesn't know anything about the outside world, and he loves to watch TV. And he learns everything he learns, he saw it on television. And so the lady bumps into him with the car, and he's all hurt and injured, but think about it, he's all dressed up like he's super ultra rich. So she's like, come back to our pad, and we got doctors at the house. We don't have to take you to, a hospital and stuff. We don't have to fill out forms or anything like that. I'll introduce you to my husband. He's basically the Warren Buffett of their place. So he goes back there, meets him. The guy, everyone that's meeting him, this guy, he's in the film, he's real simple and really just like, so he comes across and says, natural stuff to them. And so they love him. They love his, they love his presence, and they get along with him. And so they start putting all of their thing. They start putting everything that they feel, or how they see the world, onto him. So when the rich dude, this kingmaker that works with all these, big brother types, that works with the powers that be, he sees dude all dressed to the nines and everything, and the guy's just, just being himself. He starts to put off on him that he's also a kingmaker. So he tries to take this gardener, and they get mixed up on it because he's like, "What's your name?" And he starts choking. He's like, "Chauncey Gardner." Oh wow! And his name is Chance the Gardener, but they thought he said Chauncey Gardner.
Chauncey Gardner. Okay.
So they're like, "It's good to meet you, Chauncey. I guess you come from a very wealthy family." And then he's like, I love flowers. And they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. Right. You love buildings and you love seeing them grow into capital. We got you. They infer everything that they
I got
think.
you. Yeah.
So every person from that point on that comes across them infers something that they would see. They see it in him.
That's
Till eventually they're all thinking, this guy's like the president of the United States. This is the next president of the United States.
Wow.
And he's just a gardener. He's just a very simple gardener. I love that movie.
That sounds like a good movie. That actually sounds like a really good movie. I would love to see that. You know what I mean? Like,
you got to check it out. It's so good, man. I wish there was a part 2 to it. I wish they had been able to. Peter Sellers plays the gardener, the simple gardener. It's hilarious because he's just so simple. He's just going off of what he's seen on TV. He goes to shake people's hands from what he saw on TV. So when he's with the big dude, he's shaking it like this. And so they're like, oh, okay, so he's a part of the club. He knows what it is. He knows the special handshake.
And what's the movie called again?
Being There.
Being There. Okay, gotcha. Let me put that in. I'm gonna watch that. That sounds like a cool little movie. Watch.
Oh man, yeah, that's my number 3 of the 70s movies. Then of course I got Rocky number 2 and Star Wars number 1. Best version of Star Wars 2 is a version called the Addy Wan version, and it's longer than the regular version everyone's used to seeing. Okay, and it has a whole lot more special effects. And a guy got like it was like a fan edit. And people put like I don't know if it was like $1 million, but I think it may have been altogether to do the trilogy, to do 4, 5, and 6, and erase any mistakes or errors and make everything continuity and everything synced up. So it's still the original film basically, but with more elements added, better detailing. Okay. So there's like the lights in the background in certain scenes are clear, and I got that on a Blu-ray too, and it's really nice. Okay, that's it for my top 10 list though. Yeah, and my notables.
Like I said, you the authority on it when it comes to those. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I thought I was a movie buff, but man, you got it in the bag right there. I'm telling you straight up.
That's a lot of hours at the TV and at the cinema.
I hear you on that. Being There, I'm actually interested in watching that. So
yeah, it's good. You can check out
So I'm looking through this list, right? And I remember people saying that these great like a Clockwork Orange. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
So what's that like? So
well,
everybody's like
esoteric.
Yeah.
It's basically like the guys are in Great Britain. They've gone in through their MK Ultra processing, and then they become violently focused because they're inundated with violent imagery, and then they keep their eyes open. They basically hypnotize them into they're wearing their boiler hats or whatever those are called, and they're going around committing crimes. And another Stanley Kubrick, right? Isn't it? That's
Stanley Kubrick directed it.
So he's the same one that did a lot of other esoteric films, from 2001: A Space Odyssey to Shining.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. So basically, there's a whole bunch of hidden symbolism throughout this, like red versus blue, the checkered floor, and this happens in different movies back then too. Was where they show these checkered floor, and they go it and they cross into this other dimension, and then that's where evil can come across. And that's what you see in some of these scenes where they're showing the mirror and the checkered floor.
Is the checkered floor? What's that symbolize? Like mind control or something?
Well, no, it's for the it's like the white and black paths for dimensional crossing overs between different aspects in the occult. And that's where you get these Solomon Temple. That's where the sacrifices in the ancient period were supposed to take place. And on Solomon's Temple floor, the entire floor was supposed to be a chessboard in the black and white imagery. Okay. Right, and that's where they would have the animals, and they would bring them to sacrifice under there to atone for sins, or to sacrificially get rid of certain omens and things. Okay, because you see all these celebrities and stuff always got either like they'll have like these pictures with checkerboard suits, or they're in a room with the classic checkerboard floor a lot. You know what I mean? Throwing up whatever the symbol is, the redacted symbol. That's where it originated from. Originally was supposed to be from the Temple of Solomon, Sol meaning soul, meaning the sun, and Mon being the moon. So he was the high priest of the sun and the moon.
Gotcha.
And his symbolism was a part of that, and then that transferred later down into the mysteries, and that's where you hear other groups talking about when they say we're gonna come to this floor, and then that's why it's repeated by the powers that be through the media.
Now, is that the same Solomon where the Seal of Solomon comes from?
Yes, that's correct. Okay. And it's the Seals of Solomon that showcase the power of the six, which is the sun and moon, and gematria, which is the powers of hexing, or believing that you're control over nature, the elements.
Got you. Okay, I got you, because I was told that the Seal of Solomon is what the redacted bear. For the most part.
Probably somebody got a Seal of Solomon probably on them. I'm sure, because you see a lot of different symbolism on jewelry and things of that nature.
Right. So yeah, it's interesting to me. That's why I kind of want to. I kept hearing like that's a good occult movie to watch is A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, I mean it throws different things. Yeah, it throws different things at you. I was never a big fan of it, but it does have a lot of different symbolism in there, and the entire esoteric genre of films, occult films, really came together back then. There was a guy named Kenneth Unger, and his work and other people's work back in those days in the 60s and the 70s. Yeah, they started making films to showcase hidden elements of the occult. And then it's just that a lot of the films, that was when The Exorcist came out. A lot of the films that we see today, they'll have bits and pieces of those things, but they might not be entirely esoteric. They'll have a lot of symbolism that is hidden symbolism for the occult, and we get that across in films like modern films like The Matrix and other films that have been coming out. Got you.
Shoot, I think this was a pretty good episode, man. This was fun,
Yeah, like it was 70s.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of just about every freaking thing that came out in the 70s was dark, gritty, and grimy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. We need to get back to that.
Star Wars really took it to a different place, because you look at our list, Alien, Duel, Deliverance, Close Encounters, French Connection, Godfather. This is dark and grimy stuff. The 80s got away from all that and started. There was like light and campy and silly, but there was also the slasher film genre. Jason and all of them, Freddy and all that stuff. So things really switched up in the 80s from the 70s darkness.
Right. Like I remember, my dad was a big movie buff, so we was always in the movie theaters, as long as I can remember, and I still seen a ton of 80 movies regardless, because like I said, every Friday we had a Budget Video, I think it was called, before Blockbuster came around. It was Budget Video.
Get you some VHS tapes.
Get some VHS tapes. They had that one section in the back with the fucking Western doors that we couldn't go through there. That was all the adult films and shit. You know what I mean? But, I got to rent a video game, with my Nintendo. My father would get
the Nintendo tapes. You got to blow in your tapes.
Yeah.
Stick them in.
Right, exactly.
And they weren't even tapes, but everyone was used to saying tapes.
Yeah.
It was cartridges.
Right? Yeah, that's what we called them, was cartridges, But
no, everyone.
You had to blow on that. You had to blow on it. My cousin's like, you got to lick. I'm not licking the cartridge.
Yeah. You get that. You get the alcohol Q-tip with a peroxide Q-tip.
Yes,
go over the little thing with it. If the blowing stops working, because we did the blowing first. If it stopped working, my Mike Tyson's punch out.
Yeah.
I said, let me go get the Q-tip. This will fix it.
I
gotta whoop Mike.
Yeah. So I got a movie I want you to watch. I'm interested to see what you think about it.
Okay.
Now
it's a movie I haven't seen.
I don't know if you've seen it. It actually came out last year. It's a cartoon.
Oh yeah.
The DC comic.
All right.
Injustice. Yeah.
I started, I got that. I started to watch it, but I didn't get into it just yet.
So I watched it on Saturday, and I was like, oh shit.
It's good.
It was great. It was great in my opinion. But the message to the movie, maybe we can review it. But the message to that movie was great. I think I watched it 3 times.
Batman in it?
Yeah, Batman in it. All of the Justice League is in it. I think so.
Cool.
Most of the Justice League is in it, but it's interesting. Now, I thought it was going to be along the lines of well, it kind of still is along the lines. Well, the video game is along the lines of the comic, but I think it did it justice. I liked it a lot. The message though, the message to it was fantastic.
That's cool. I'll have to check it out then. Did you watch the original ones? I mean, the cartoons, the 90s and Batman animated series.
Oh, I had the toys and everything.
Man, now let me say, you know that guy Bull from Night Court?
Yeah,
he was Harvey Dent. That's
was
the
he
voice
really?
of Harvey Dent. Yeah, Bull from Night Court.
Wow.
He got into voice acting, and he has a whole bunch of credits under his list, including Scorpion from animated Spider-Man and a couple other characters.
Okay, because didn't what's his name?
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill was the Joker. Yeah.
Richard Bull was the Richard Mole, who played Bull on Night Court. He was Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Two-Face.
But yeah, check that movie out. It was great. Like we said before, if they just stick with the source material, they could make great live action movies. But they just want to keep putting their fucking.
They gotta go too far, huh?
Yeah, they want to keep putting their spice on.
We can squeeze in this agenda. That's what made my wife didn't like it, or my dad, when we were watching Wonder Woman 84, and I liked that movie.
You liked it?
Remember, she jumped out on the screen and she turned around to the camera and she's like, "I hate guns," and they was like, "Oh!"
I hated that.
They didn't like that scene.
I wanted to like that movie so bad. I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it. It was just like
I liked it. It also had the original Wonder Woman. At the
end
I did
see the original
TV series Wonder Woman.
But I was like, it didn't make sense to me. Because she was kind of flying at the end of like the first Wonder Woman. Like, why is she just learning to fly again now? And it was just, I don't know. It was just something about it. I don't like how they did Cheetah.
I liked the older 84. I liked it a lot.
I couldn't get with it. Even my wife was like, I don't like this. I just couldn't do it.
I think it throws it off by all the little stuff they try to throw in there.
Yeah, it was too much agenda in it. But like, I even tried to get past the agenda. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I'm like, I was all set. I'm like, man, if this ain't like the first one, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be great. It was too campy for me. It was too 80s campy for me. Like, that's kind of where they was going with it. And it was, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good on it. Anyway, you got anything else?
That's it.
All right, guys.
Knocked out the 70s. Time to hit them 80s next time.
Yeah, I'll be ready for you on the 80s. I'm good with them. Dude, I'm gonna make my list tonight. But if you guys got any suggestions for us, any movie reviews you would like us to do, just leave them in the comments below. For Jay and Cannon, this is Hotep Movie Reviews. We'll holla at you.